that I visited 3 of my rural hospitals. I have 24 counties, and every one of them has, almost every one of them has, not quite as many as yours, but almost every one of them has a rural hospital, a critical access hospital. And in every single case, these folks, the administrators there, have told me that if the Affordable Care Act is repealed, that's going to put a tremendous amount of budgetary pressure on them. And they're not sure that they can keep their doors open, and we know what that's going to do for patient access, obviously.
Reclaiming my time, I am talking to the same hospital directors, and they're saying just the opposite. If we don't do something about these DISH funds, that they're going to be forced to close. Remember, right now 41% of rural hospitals are operating at a loss.
Right.
They're closing at an alarming rate, and that's been increasing since Obamacare was enacted. I will yield back.
Chair, thanks. The gentleman yields back. The chair, for what purposes, gentlelady from California seek recognition? Gentlelady is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to make an observation, and it is the following. The California Hospital Association, CHA, has come to D.C. To meet with all members of the California congressional delegation. And while most members may not realize it, we have many, many rural areas in California. But the CHA, California Hospital Association, has been urging members of the delegation, Republicans and Democrats, to continue to support the Affordable Care Act because of the salutary effect it has had on hospitals throughout California. You know, there's a mix on the take. Now, we didn't ask them to come. They came on their own and have instructed us. In fact, they've given us all the figures for hospitals, both before and after the Affordable Care Act. So I think that since this amendment is about hospitals, we are we're a nation state, the largest state, the most populous state in the union, and that California Hospital Association his recommendation, I think, is really a weighty one. So I want to thank the gentleman for the amendment that he's offering. And I also placed in the record earlier in our markup an article that was written by the CEO of the Stanford Medical Center, that is Stanford University Medical Center, and I placed it in the record because I think that it is worth the read as to why there is far more stability in terms of what was uncompensated care and how that has changed and changed dramatically for hospitals, readmission rates, and really all of the issues that we are all familiar with, especially from the Health Subcommittee or as members. You don't have to be on the Health Subcommittee to know it. From our hospitals. So I just wanted to offer that in terms of testimony and how important it is to, I believe, to support the amendment, and I yield the remainder of my time to Mr. Engel.
Thank you. I just wanted to add one fact, because as we were having this debate, I want to say that according to Becker's Hospital Review, 21 hospitals closed in 2016. 18 of them were in non-expansion states where they wouldn't expand Medicaid. 16 of them were in non-expansion states out of the 21. So I think it has a little bit to do with the expansion or lack of expansion. I yield to Ms. Castor. I guess you.
Colleagues, if you want to protect hospitals across America, the last thing that you want to do is vote for the Republican bill. And I find the arguments that the Affordable Care Act has weakened hospitals to be very untrue in my experience back in Florida. All of the hospitals were enthusiastic partners in trying to get our neighbors covered with health insurance. Because the last thing a hospital wants is a patient to come in the door that's uninsured. Of course, the care providers there are going to provide the top quality care. But when it goes to the accountants, if they're not covered with insurance, if they don't have insurance, we're going to end up with bad debt on the hospital's bottom line, which will be passed along to everyone who has insurance. It's interesting because, like you all, I've heard from hospitals back home. They're not shy. Here are a few of the points they said as we go into the Republican repeal effort. They said, what you have to do, we recommend strongly, maintain coverage. So the bill rips coverage away from so many of our neighbors because you undermine, you take away the tax credits, you don't provide the support that our families need. They say provide support for premiums. Provide adequate financial assistance to help those in need. That is critical. And yet, this bill, we had a debate hours ago about how our older neighbors are going to really suffer. The folks that are age 50 to 64, it was discovered during debate, the age rating in the bill actually isn't the 5-to-1 that's printed there. It's unlimited when it goes back to states. So it looks like our older neighbors are really going to get hammered. They also said, please do not reduce an already underfunded Medicaid system. Well, this is the most radical rewrite to Medicaid that we've seen in decades. Changing to a per capita cap that doesn't grow over time in an adequate way to provide the support that our families, our children, folks with disabilities. I think about my children's hospitals back home that are taking care of children with the most complex medical needs. If you want to support our hospitals, I strongly recommend you support Mr. Engel's amendment and you vote no on the Republican bill.
Seeing no one else seeking recognition, I'm told we're going to go to a vote in accordance with an agreement with the...
I just want to say this. Sorry.
Okay. I recognize gentleman for Vermont.
I'll be very brief, but Mark Wayne Mullen talked about rural hospitals in his state, and we have the same thing in Vermont. Mr. Engel has the same thing even in an urban district. The hospital CEOs that I spoke to said that if we basically change the health care bill as it's being proposed now, there would be a big spike in uncompensated care. One of the big benefits to our rural hospitals has been that the free care that they were given, they now get Medicaid reimbursement. It's low reimbursement, but it's better than zero. And it literally has made the difference between black ink and red ink for our hospitals. Now, with Mr. Mullen's situation, what it suggests is it's not working for them. And this is the stranglehold we put ourselves in by not taking time to try to figure out how to have a bill that's going to work for the small hospitals in his community, in Mr. Engel's community, and mine. I yield back.
Thank the gentleman. Gentleman yields back. The question now arises on approval of the amendment. The clerk, those in favor will vote aye, those opposed nay, and the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Barton. Mr. Barton votes no. Mr. Upton. Mr. Shimkus. Mr. Shimkus votes no. Mr. Murphy. Mr. Murphy votes no. Mr. Burgess. Mr. Burgess votes no. Mrs. Blackburn. Mrs. Blackburn votes no. Mr. Scalise. Mr. Scalise votes no. Mr. Lotta. Mr. Lotta votes no. Mrs. McMorris-Rogers. Mr. Harper. Mrs. McMorris-Rogers votes no. Mr. Harper. Mr. Harper votes no. Mr. Lance. Mr. Guthrie. Mr. Guthrie votes no. Mr. Olson. Mr. Olson votes no. Mr. McKinley. No. Mr. McKinley votes no. Mr. Kinzinger.
No.
Mr. Kinzinger votes no. Mr. Griffith.
No.
Mr. Griffith votes no. Mr. Bilirakis. Mr. Bilirakis votes no. Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson votes no. Mr. Long? Mr. Long votes no. Mr. Bouchon? Mr. Bouchon votes no. Mr. Flores? Mr. Flores votes no. Mrs. Brooks? Mrs. Brooks votes no. Mr. Mullen? Mr. Mullen votes no. Mr. Hudson? Mr. Hudson votes no. Mr. Collins? Mr. Collins votes no. Mr. Kramer? Mr. Kramer votes no. Mr. Wahlberg? Mr. Wahlberg votes no. Mrs. Walters? Mrs. Walters votes no. Mr. Costello? Mr. Costello votes no. Mr. Carter? Mr. Carter votes no. Mr. Pallone? Mr. Pallone votes aye. Mr. Rush? Ms. Eshoo? Ms. Eshoo votes aye. Mr. Engel? Mr. Engel votes aye. Mr. Green? Mr. Green votes aye. Mr. Gett? Mr. Gett votes aye. Mr. Doyle? Mr. Doyle votes aye. Ms. Schakowsky? Ms. Schakowsky votes aye. Mr. Butterfield? Mr. Butterfield votes aye. Ms. Matsui? Ms. Matsui votes aye. Ms. Castor? Ms. Castor votes aye. Mr. Sarbanes? Mr. Sarbanes votes aye. Mr. McNerney? Mr. McNerney votes aye. Mr. Welch? Mr. Welch votes aye. Mr. Lujan? Mr. Lujan votes aye. Mr. Tonko? Mr. Tonko votes aye. Ms. Clark? Ms. Clark votes aye. Mr. Loebsack? Mr. Loebsack votes aye. Mr. Schrader? Mr. Schrader votes aye. Mr. Kennedy? Mr. Kennedy votes aye. Mr. Cardenas? Mr. Cardenas votes aye. Mr. Ruiz? Mr. Ruiz votes aye. Mr. Peters? Mr. Peters votes aye. Ms. Stingel? Ms. Stingel votes aye. Chairman Walden?
Walden votes no.
Chairman Walden
Are there
votes
members
no.
not recorded? Gentleman from Michigan, Mr. Upton.
Mr. Upton votes no.
Gentleman from New Jersey, Mr. Lance.
Mr. Lance votes no.
Are there other members wishing to be recorded on this amendment? Clerk will report the tally.
Mr. Chairman, on that vote, there were 23 ayes and 31 noes.
23 ayes, 31 noes. The amendment fails. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Texas, the vice chair of the full committee, for unanimous consent request.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But before I do that, Mr. Chairman, I want to commend you for your handling of your first major markup.
Thank you. Thank you.
This has literally been a baptism of fire, and you have handled it with grace and
You're kind.
humor
Thank you.
and style, and it bodes well for your tenure as chairman of what I think is the best committee in the House of Representatives.
I think it also set a record, 27 hours nonstop. So congratulations to all of you and to our staff.
Don't give them something to shoot for, Mr. Chairman.
Now I'd recognize the gentleman for a UC request.
I have two amendments at the desk, Mr. Chairman. I think they're Barton 1 and Barton 2. I would ask unanimous consent that we consider them both at one time, which I think the technical term is en bloc, or en
Without
bloc.
objection, so ordered. The clerk will report the amendments. En bloc amendment.
An en bloc amendment to the amendment in the nature of a substitute to the committee print offered by Mr. Barton.
I ask unanimous consent that be considered as read, Mr.
We'll dispense with the reading of the amendments. I now turn to my friend from Texas, Mr. Barton, to speak on his amendments.
I appreciate that, Mr. Chairman. These are the Barton, Blackburn, Hudson amendments. We have three sponsors, and they're very straightforward. The bill as it's currently configured allows the states that expanded their Medicaid population to healthy adults to continue that expansion until December the 31st, 2019. For all practical purposes, that's 3 years. These amendments ends that ability to expand at the end of this year, January the 1st, 2018. So instead of a 3-year expansion continuation, my amendment would cut that by 2 years to just 1 year. The bill is currently drafted, has no date certain that the super Medicaid match goes back to the normal Medicaid match. Super Medicaid match right now is 95%. It does go down to 2020 by 90%, and then it continues in perpetuity at 90%. The second part, or the second amendment, which is being considered in block, says by January the 1st, 2023, that super match goes to the normal state match, whatever that state's match is. So that's the two amendments. Now, my friends on the minority side have been asking for CBO scores all last night and this morning. I don't have a CBO score, Mr. Chairman, but I do have a BBO score, the Barton Budget Office score. This is the back of an envelope score, but if you assume that there's 14 million eligibles or current enrollees in the expanded Medicaid population, and instead of letting that continue and perhaps expand for 3 years, you stop it after 1 year, those 2 years that you have stopped that expansion, according to my calculations, is somewhere between $82 billion and over $100 billion in real savings. Now, Mr. Chairman, that's real money, and it would start saving in calendar year 2018, not in calendar year 2020. So that's the amendment. We basically take the model in the pending bill, we end the continuation of the expansion 2 years earlier, and we put a date certain on when you go back to the Medicaid normal match of 2023, which is what the committee staff estimates the attrition would result in going back to the Medicaid match. With that, I want to yield to Mr. Hudson for his comments on our joint amendment.
I thank Mr. Barton. Thank you, Chairman, for your work on this markup. Mr. Barton, thank you for your leadership on this amendment. Our debt and deficit are out of control. Our debt currently stands at $15 trillion. That's 77% of GDP. Our deficit is at $500 billion today. This amendment begins the important process of reining in our federal spending 2 years earlier than the bill in its current form. We all agree we should take care of our most vulnerable citizens, but Medicaid is on an unsustainable path. Solutions like the amendment we're putting forward today will ensure we can provide sustainable, fiscally responsible, and affordable coverage to our most vulnerable. I look forward to working with my colleagues to advance this legislation, and I yield back to Mr. Barton.
Let me say, Mr. Chairman, I believe Mrs. Blackburn's going to seek her own time, or do you? Okay, then I yield to the gentlelady from Tennessee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Barton has explained the amendment. I want to thank the chairman, and I want to thank the whip for working with us on this. We do think it is important to find a date certain to end the expansion and to do that this year. And then we also think it is important to have a date certain to return to that normal Medicaid match. It is the right step for our country. It is the right step as we look at the Affordable Care Act repeal and replacement. And with that, Mr. Barton, I'm going to yield back the balance of my time to you to close.
We've got 18 seconds left. Let me say, Mr. Chairman, that the two amendments that I've just discussed have been endorsed by the Republican Study Committee. They've been endorsed by the Freedom Caucus. In the days ahead, they're going to be endorsed, I'm sure, by large number of conservative groups. White House is considering it. They're open to it. They're looking at it. They have not yet come out in support of it, but in private discussions, I have received quite a bit of positive feedback. With that, Mr. Chairman, to honor the agreement you've made with the minority, I am going to withdraw the amendment.
If the gentleman, yes.
I'm not going to withdraw it?
Whoa, no.
Great. That's
No, but I know Mr. Plone wanted to be able to speak on
okay,
it.
sure.
So if you could yield back.
I yield back.
Then I'll recognize Mr. Pallone, then you can withdraw. I think that works better in terms
My
of our
hopes
process.
were soaring, Mr.
I know they were. And a few others were soaring, and others were.
Another way.
Yeah.
Okay.
So with that, the
I yield
gentleman's
back
time
the
is.
negative balance of my time.
There we go. I'll recognize the gentleman from New Jersey to speak on the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I understand that Mr. Barton is going to withdraw the amendment. I do want to speak in opposition. The underlying bill freezes the Medicaid expansion population for which states can receive enhanced federal funding. This would effectively end the Medicaid expansion in 2020. The amendment also changes the date of this freeze from 2020 to 2018 and ends the availability for any enhanced match for the previously eligible Medicaid expansion population in 2023. The amendment would end the expansion in 2018 and eliminate states' enhanced funding for previously enrolled beneficiaries in 2023. Of course, I urge my colleagues to oppose this amendment to protect the 11 million people who are covered by the Medicaid expansion, and I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Chair now recognizes the gentleman from Texas. For what purpose?
Mr. Chairman, I seek recognition to withdraw my amendments.
The gentleman seeks to withdraw his amendment. His amendment is withdrawn. And we now move to, for what purpose does the gentleman from New Jersey seek recognition? Or do you want me to do that?
Mr. Chairman, I just want to make some final remarks and thank the staff before we move to the final vote on the substitute. I think it's clear, based on the robust debate that has taken place over the last, I guess it's 27 hours now, that committee Democrats have serious problems with the Republican repeal bill. This bill would rip health care away from millions of Americans, raise costs for working families and seniors, and lead to the rationing of care for 76 million Americans who receive Medicaid. While I appreciate the debate we had here in committee, this has not been a transparent process. We did not go through regular order. The bill was posted less than 2 days before markup. No hearings were held, and we don't have a CBO score. This is not the way this process should work, and this repeal bill should be defeated. But I want to thank the staff on the committee for all their hard work, the staff in personal offices for all their hard work, members for this engagement, and especially the clerks on both sides of the aisle. I yield back.
I would thank my colleague from New Jersey. I recognize myself for 5 minutes. I, too, want to thank our staffs on both sides of the aisle. They conduct themselves with incredible professionalism, integrity, thoughtfulness, even in the heat of battle. They can exchange messages in a most cordial way. And so I especially want to thank our health team, Paul, Josh, JP, Buck, Kristen, Caleb, and our clerks, the people who have kept us fed and watered and distributed the amendments, and really the people that make all this work. You know, we go back and forth, we agree, we disagree, we do it in the best spirit that our tempers and time of day will allow, and we get to an end product, but none of it works without all the people involved. And especially I want to thank, and C-SPAN too. We want to thank C-SPAN that makes this all public. I think they've endured even more because they get to listen and not participate much. So anyway, and I want to thank my leads too, with our comms team and certainly Karen and Mike and Ray Baum and our whole team and our personal staffs as well, and to our colleagues. Thank you very much. You've done a marvelous job on a really historic moment. Whether you're for it or against it, you have to admit this was a pretty big deal we just did. And I also want to thank our House Legislative Council. I think they drafted a few amendments that I'm sorry you didn't get to. They certainly worked with us. They've been terrific. Frankly, as much as we go back and forth about CBO and others, we've been invaded by the former Ways and Means Committee chairman, the Speaker of the House. We want to recognize here in our midst as well. So, Mr. Speaker, I guess you finally get to see the real A committee you couldn't get on, so you went to Ways and Means. Yeah. That's because we have more work to do. We got it done. So I just want to say thanks to everybody. With that, I think I have to do something official here to, if there's no further discussion, If there's no further discussion, the vote occurs on the amendment in the nature of a substitute as amended. All those in favor, and I'll call the roll, or have the clerk call the roll, so shall signify by saying all aye. All those opposed, no. The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Barton. Mr. Barton votes aye. Mr. Upton. Mr. Upton votes aye. Mr. Shimkus. Mr. Shimkus votes aye. Mr. Murphy. Mr. Murphy votes aye. Mr. Burgess. Mr. Burgess votes aye. Mrs. Blackburn. Mrs. Blackburn votes aye. Mr. Scalise. Mr. Scalise votes aye. Mr. Latta. Mr. Latta votes aye. Mrs. McMorris Rogers. Mrs. McMorris Rogers votes aye. Mr. Harper. Mr. Harper votes aye. Mr. Lance. Mr. Lance votes aye. Mr. Guthrie. Mr. Guthrie votes aye. Mr. Olson.
Aye.
Mr. Olson votes aye. Mr. McKinley. Aye. Mr. McKinley votes aye. Mr. Kinzinger.
Aye.
Mr. Kinzinger votes aye. Mr. Griffith.
Aye.
Mr. Griffith votes aye. Mr. Bilirakis. Mr. Bilirakis votes aye. Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson votes aye. Mr. Long.
Aye.
Mr. Long votes aye. Mr. Bouchon. Mr. Bouchon votes aye. Mr. Flores. Mr. Flores votes aye. Mrs. Brooks. Mrs. Brooks votes aye. Mr. Mullen. Mr. Mullen votes aye. Mr. Hudson. Mr. Hudson votes aye. Mr. Collins. Mr. Collins votes aye. Mr. Kramer. Mr. Kramer votes aye. Mr. Wahlberg. Mr. Wahlberg votes aye. Mrs. Walters. Mrs. Walters votes aye. Mr. Costello. Mr. Costello votes aye. Mr. Carter. Mr. Carter votes aye. Mr. Pallone. Mr. Pallone votes no. Mr. Rush. Ms. Eshue. Ms. Eshue votes no. Mr. Engel. Mr. Engel votes no. Mr. Green. Mr. Green votes no. Mr. Gett. Mr. Gett votes no. Mr. Doyle. Mr. Doyle votes no. Ms. Schakowsky. Ms. Schakowsky votes no. Mr. Butterfield. Mr. Butterfield votes no. Ms. Matsui. Ms. Matsui votes no. Ms. Castor. Ms. Castor votes no. Mr. Sarbanes. Mr. Sarbanes votes no. Mr. McNerney. Mr. McNerney votes no. Mr. Welch. Mr. Welch votes no. Mr. Lujan. Mr. Lujan votes no. Mr. Tonko. Mr. Tonko votes no. Ms. Clark. Ms. Clark votes no. Mr. Loebsack. Mr. Loebsack votes no. Mr. Schrader. Mr. Schrader votes no. Mr. Kennedy. Mr. Kennedy votes no. Mr. Cardenas. Mr. Cardenas votes no. Mr. Ruiz. Mr. Ruiz votes no. Mr. Peters. Mr. Peters votes no. Ms. Dingle. Ms. Dingle votes no. Chairman Walden.
Walden votes aye.
Chairman Walden votes aye.
The clerk will report the tally when ready.
Mr. Chairman, on that vote, there were 31 ayes and 23 noes.
31 ayes, 23 noes. The amendment in the nature of a substitute as amended is approved. I move that the committee do now approve and transmit the recommendations of this committee and all appropriate accompanying material, including additional supplemental or dissenting views, to the House Committee on the Budget. All those, and I'll have a roll call vote. All those in favor will vote aye, those opposed no, and the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Barton. Mr. Barton votes aye. Mr. Upton. Mr. Upton votes aye. Mr. Shimkus. Mr. Shimkus votes aye. Mr. Murphy. Mr. Murphy votes aye. Mr. Burgess. Mr. Burgess votes aye. Mrs. Blackburn. Mrs. Blackburn votes aye. Mr. Scalise. Mr. Scalise votes aye. Mr. Latta. Mr. Latta votes aye. Mrs. McMorris Rogers. Mrs. McMorris Rogers votes aye. Mr. Harper. Mr. Harper votes aye. Mr. Lance. Mr. Lance votes aye. Mr. Guthrie. Mr. Guthrie votes aye. Mr. Olson. Mr. Olson votes aye. Mr. McKinley.
Aye.
Mr. McKinley votes aye. Mr. Kinzinger.
Aye.
Mr. Kinzinger votes aye. Mr. Griffith.
Aye.
Mr. Griffith votes aye. Mr. Bilirakis. Mr. Bilirakis votes aye. Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson votes aye. Mr. Long. Mr. Long votes aye. Mr. Bouchon. Mr. Bouchon votes aye. Mr. Flores. Mr. Flores votes aye. Mrs. Brooks. Mrs. Brooks votes aye. Mr. Mullen. Mr. Mullen votes aye. Mr. Hudson. Mr. Hudson votes aye. Mr. Collins. Mr. Collins votes aye. Mr. Kramer. Mr. Kramer votes aye. Mr. Wahlberg. Mr. Wahlberg votes aye. Mrs. Walters. Mrs. Walters votes aye. Mr. Costello. Mr. Costello votes aye. Mr. Carter. Mr. Carter votes aye. Mr. Pallone. Mr. Pallone votes no. Mr. Rush. Ms. Eshoo. Ms. Eshoo votes no. Mr. Engel. Mr. Engel votes no. Mr. Green. Mr. Green votes no. Mr. Gett. Mr. Gett votes no. Mr. Doyle. Mr. Doyle votes no. Ms. Schakowsky. Ms. Schakowsky votes no. Mr. Butterfield. Mr. Butterfield votes no. Ms. Matsui. Ms. Matsui votes no. Ms. Castor. Ms. Castor votes no. Mr. Sarbanes. Mr. Sarbanes votes no. Mr. McNerney. Mr. McNerney votes no. Mr. Welch. Mr. Welch votes no. Mr. Lujan. Mr. Lujan votes no. Mr. Tonko. Mr. Tonko votes no. Ms. Clark. Ms. Clark votes no. Mr. Loebsack. Mr. Loebsack votes no. Mr. Schrader. Mr. Schrader votes no. Mr. Kennedy. Mr. Kennedy votes no. Mr. Cardenas. Mr. Cardenas votes no. Mr. Ruiz. Mr. Ruiz votes no. Mr. Peters. Mr. Peters votes no. Ms. Dingle. Ms. Dingle votes no. Chairman Walden.
Walden votes aye.
Chairman Walden votes aye.
The clerk will report the tally.
Mr. Chairman, on that vote, there were 31 ayes and 23 nays.
31 ayes, 23 nays. The ayes appear to have it, the ayes have it, and the motion to transmit is agreed to. Now, we have one more piece of business to deal with as per our notice. So at this point, the chair calls up H-Res 154 and asks the clerk to report.
H-Res 154, of inquiry requesting the President of the United States and directing the Secretary of Health and Human Services to transmit certain information to the House of Representatives relating to plans to repeal or replace the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act and the health-related measures of the Healthcare and Education Reconciliation Act of 2010.
Without objection, the reading of the resolution is dispensed with, and the chair recognizes Mr. Kennedy for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm conscious of the fact that bringing up this resolution after 27 hours of being in this room is probably not the most popular thing at the moment. However, I would not do it if I did not believe it was very important, and I appreciate the recognition. This committee just finished marking up half of this bill. Obviously, Ways and Means finished it before. However, that is only the first step in a very long process, and I have strong concerns that this committee, and particularly our Democratic caucus, has not been afforded all the information that is necessary for us to understand the details of the bill and where this is going forward in the days and weeks ahead. Just today, the President of the United States tweeted out that, quote, despite what you hear in the press, healthcare is coming along great. We are talking to many groups, and it will end in a beautiful picture. Yesterday, he expressed openness to expanding the rollback of the current Medicaid expansion to 2018, contrary to the bill that we just marked up, delaying the changes in the insurance markets until 2018 and 2020. On Tuesday, the president took to Twitter again when he wrote up, "Don't worry, getting rid of state lines, which will promote competition and will be in phase 2 and phase 3 of the healthcare rollout." That was obviously news to many of us that there was, in fact, a phase 2 and a phase 3. He continued on Twitter that I am working on a new system where there will be competition in the drug industry. Pricing for the American people will come way down. Mr. Chairman, after notice of non-disclosure agreements between committee staff from Judiciary and White House personnel, we had requested information as to whether documents, notes, emails, correspondence between the White House transition officials and this committee, if they'd exist, about the potential rollback of the Affordable Care Act so that we could have an idea as to what this process would entail. We obviously have not gotten that yet. We talked about it, I think you'll recall, several weeks ago in a committee process. We then filed this resolution of inquiry with the hope of obtaining that series of correspondence, if any exists, so that this committee and the American people and the Democratic caucus, Democratic members of this committee, can be certain that we understand what is taking place and what plans are as we debate the biggest policy the biggest policy portfolio for this administration, at least for this Congress. And I would respectfully request that this is not, look, this markup was just successful. You guys got the votes. It passed. But as we all know, this is the first step to a process, and apparently a phase 2 and phase 3, which I didn't even know about until finding out about it on Twitter. So I would respectfully request that the committee be able to divulge whatever correspondence exists between the White House and this committee so that we, as members of this committee, can have an accurate reflection, an accurate representation as to what is coming next and what is the true ambition of the healthcare policy rollout for this caucus. With that, I will yield back and or yield to any other member of the Democratic caucus here, or Democratic committee that wants it. I repeat that this bill, I know you've got very strong feelings on the Republican side of the aisle. You've got very strong feelings here as well, and I'm not so warm and fuzzy as some of you guys are at this point. I'll yield back that.
Gentleman yields back the balance of his time. Chair recognizes himself for 5 minutes. From Chairman Dingell's work to the Solyndra and the ACA investigations, to name a few, under Chairman Upton, the Committee on Energy and Commerce has a long history of conducting robust oversight of the executive branch. We will continue to carry out this important constitutional obligation under my leadership. But there is a process by which we do this work. We typically begin by asking the executive branch to comply voluntarily with our requests. We send document requests and ask questions. We utilize subpoenas when necessary, which create a legal obligation to comply. Last Congress, Chairman Upton issued 5 subpoenas after Obama administration officials refused to comply with our requests. What we don't do is begin with a resolution of inquiry like is before us today. But even in the face of the situation with the Obama administration, Chairman Upton never went to this statement of inquiry. Quite frankly, I think this is premature, and I would urge my colleagues to reject this.
Mr. Chairman, if I could just to respond to that for 30 seconds, if I may?
Sure. I would yield
Thank you.
to the gentleman.
And I understand that perspective, and I do, sir. I would bring up that this resolution of inquiry has been performed by actually this committee, by Republicans, when we were actually negotiating the passage of the Affordable Care Act. And just to be clear, I did ask about correspondence informally between committee and committee staff and the White House before filing this resolution, hoping that we wouldn't have to get there. So I understand your position. I would respectfully say that this wasn't the first step. This was second or third down the line, and I yield back.
I appreciate that. Reclaiming my time. Again, when I believe a member of our committee did pursue documents first, they did go through the steps I just outlined, then they went to the resolution of inquiry. So that was kind of the process I was laying out, is kind of traditionally how the committee has operated under Democrats and Republicans. You go through a request process. You try and get an administration to comply. Quite frankly, most administrations sort of slow walk things. They just do. And so then you turn the heat up, and then you do oversight hearings. You may do a number of steps. This is kind of the nuclear option, if you will, at the end when they completely don't comply.
If it's nuclear, it didn't work so well, I don't think.
Well, I'm just saying, yeah. So with that, I would yield to the gentleman. Okay. I would yield to the gentlelady. For what purpose of my time?
To strike the last word?
Oh.
On a resolution? You can't do that.
Thought we were just doing the two of us. Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Can I just yield on my time? Because I thought
Certainly.
that was our agreement.
Sure.
So, yeah, if the gentlelady, I would yield to her.
Thank you. What I wanted to, I want to thank Mr. Kennedy for the resolution. And what I'd like to ask you, Mr. Chairman, what are the steps? And what's the timetable for them so that the end result is the procurement of the materials that are in the privileged resolution?
So I think I outlined them, but basically you'd have an inquiry of the agency. You'd have a written inquiry. You'd ask for certain documents. We would work through that. As you know, in our O&I role, we do that oftentimes in a bipartisan way. I've already signed a lot of letters to this administration asking for documents. We have pursued that already in various areas. Some of those are follow-up from document requests that overlap administrations, that frankly,
Let
administration.
me ask this, have any requests been made of the administration for these materials yet?
I don't know about these specific materials, no.
And Mr. Chairman, if I may,
I would yield.
briefly, thank you. Again, just so the committee is clear, this was done in a committee hearing. It was then followed up in writing. It was then, there was no response given. So this was, as you outlined, I would love to work with you and your committee staff to try to advance this process. If we could get a commitment from you or a clear idea as to what steps are necessary so that we can get this. But we tried once verbally, we tried again in paper, no response, no response. My nuclear option isn't so nuclear, but I understand your position on that. But this is something, obviously, I think is important to members, and I'd like to figure out what we can do.
Reclaiming my time, and I thank the gentleman. We're happy to have some discussions along the way on these and other issues, but my time has expired. The question now occurs on reporting H-Res 154 to the House unfavorably. Yeah. All those in favor shall signify by saying aye. Those opposed, nay. And the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Barton.
You know, that's a good, maybe I should clarify that because it is kind of a double negative. So I know everybody wants to make the correct vote. So I think the recommendation for all would be to vote aye on the motion to report unfavorably, although my friends on this side might want to disagree with me on that. Did that make it clear? So I think Mr. Barton wants to vote aye. That's what I thought.
Mr. Barton votes aye. Mr. Upton. Mr. Upton votes aye. Mr. Shimkus. Mr. Shimkus votes aye. Mr. Murphy. Mr. Murphy votes aye. Mr. Burgess. Mr. Burgess votes aye. Mrs. Blackburn. Mrs. Blackburn votes aye. Mr. Scalise. Mr. Scalise votes aye. Mr. Latta. Mr. Latta votes aye. Mrs. McMorris-Rogers. Mrs. McMorris-Rogers votes aye. Mr. Harper. Mr. Harper votes aye. Mr. Lance. Mr. Lance votes aye. Mr. Guthrie. Mr. Guthrie votes aye. Mr. Olson. Mr. Olson votes aye. Mr. McKinley. Mr. McKinley votes aye. Mr. Kinzinger. Mr. Kinzinger votes aye. Mr. Griffith. Mr. Griffith votes aye. Mr. Bilirakis. Mr. Bilirakis votes aye. Mr. Johnson.
Ladies and gentlemen, if we could, the clerk is going to have trouble doing the roll and hearing us, so please, if we could.
Mr. Johnson votes aye. Mr. Long.
Aye.
Mr. Long votes aye. Mr. Bouchon. Mr. Bouchon votes aye. Mr. Flores. Mr. Flores votes aye. Mrs. Brooks. Mrs. Brooks votes aye. Mr. Mullen. Mr. Mullen votes aye. Mr. Hudson. Mr. Hudson votes aye. Mr. Collins. Mr. Collins votes aye. Mr. Kramer. Mr. Kramer votes aye. Mr. Wahlberg. Mr. Wahlberg votes aye. Mrs. Walters. Mrs. Walters votes aye. Mr. Costello.
Aye.
Mr. Costello votes aye. Mr. Carter. Mr. Carter votes aye. Mr. Pallone. Mr. Pallone votes no. Mr. Rush. Miss Eshue.
No.
Miss Eshue votes no. Mr. Engel.
No.
Mr. Engel votes no. Mr. Green. Ms. Taguette. Ms. Taguette votes no. Mr. Doyle. Mr. Doyle votes no. Ms. Schakowsky. Ms. Schakowsky votes no. Mr. Butterfield. Mr. Butterfield. Mr. Butterfield votes no. Ms. Matsui. Ms. Matsui votes no. Ms. Castor. Ms. Castor votes no. Mr. Sarbanes. Mr. Sarbanes votes no. Mr. McNerney. Mr. McNerney votes no. Mr. Welch. Mr. Welch votes no. Mr. Lujan. Mr. Lujan votes no. Mr. Tonko. Mr. Tonko votes no. Ms. Clark. Ms. Clark votes no. Mr. Loebsack. Mr. Loebsack votes no. Mr. Schrader. Mr. Schrader votes no. Mr. Kennedy. Mr. Kennedy votes no. Mr. Cardenas. Is he here? Mr. Cardenas votes no. Mr. Ruiz. Mr. Ruiz votes no. Mr. Peters. Mr. Peters votes no. Ms. Dingle. Ms. Dingle votes no. Chairman Walden.
Votes aye.
Chairman Walden votes aye.
Are there any members not recorded who wish to be recorded? If not, the clerk will report the tally.
Mr. Chairman, on that vote, there were 31 ayes and 22 nays.
31 ayes,
22 nays.
22 nays. The ayes have it, and the resolution is reported unfavorably. Without objection, staff is authorized to make technical and conforming changes to the matters considered by the committee over the last 27 and a half hours. So ordered. Without objection, this committee stands adjourned.